Welcome to the Windows Insider channel, and this is the Tech News Update. We are Thursday, January 18th, 2018. And today in our Tech News Update, we have Microsoft products and services in Barcelona that are going to be dumped by the city. So this is funny because last year, if you remember, we talked about a German city, I think it was Munich, that ditched open source and decided, let's go Microsoft all the way. Well, Barcelona is doing the reverse, dumping Microsoft and going open source. Now this is interesting because, there's so many people talking about this, so many people that are wondering about, what's happening, how much money are you saving or not, depending on what's happening. So it's kind of an interesting one here. And, is there a really clear answer? I don't know. Apple says that it will allow you to turn on or off the throttle feature in future iOS updates. So they'll add kind of a little on-off switch that will let you have speed over battery performance if you need so. And all I got to say with that is you should have been clear at the start that, hey, we're doing this, and you should have had that switch from the start also. And talking about Apple, there's this big lie that's going around the different news items saying that, hey, they're creating 20,000 jobs and injecting more than $350 billion in the U.S. economy over the next 5 years, which is simply not true. In that money, they are, of course, talking about the 200 and some billion that they are actually taking overseas and bringing home, which is not injecting any money into the economy because it's their money and it's just going to stay there doing nothing. Except they will pay $38 billion in taxes. But the other thing also is that basically the money spent in the economy really will be about 1/10 of that in the next 5 years, around $7 billion a year. So, it's a big lie that everybody's saying, hey, Apple is such a great company, look at what they're doing, when in reality, they're not. So stop publishing bad and really wrong news about this. Warning! Microsoft scams are still there. Apparently, according to a study, Microsoft phone scams are still going strong, and they are working. They are stealing money from a lot of people, even with all the efforts in shutting down the websites. And also, we would think that everybody knows about this. Well, nope. Tons and tons of people are falling for this every day. So, I just want to kind of remind everybody, talk to everybody you know about this. Make sure that you let them know that Microsoft never calls you on the phone. Make sure that you stay safe. I was thinking maybe it's time to do another one of those little videos just to remind everybody, hey, stay safe. This is not true. Thomson Reuters is, of course, a very serious, they kind of have a very serious list of global tech leaders. And they've released their latest list, which puts Microsoft at the #1 spot of global tech leaders. I think Microsoft's going to be happy with that. They say the reason for the position is, of course, the great outlook for the future of Microsoft, the stability of the company, innovation, and so many things are being looked at. So, cool. Kudos to Microsoft, I guess. A flaw in iOS means that your iPhone and iPad can freeze if somebody text bombs you. Or not even just that, simply sending a link that you got to click on, and it's going to bring you to a web page that's just going to do the same thing. Apple says a fix will be rolling out soon to fix this flaw. So Amazon has released a list of the top 20 cities now that it is looking at for the headquarters #2 of its operations. One thing that's notable for me is that they removed Montreal from the list. The only Canadian city left is Toronto. And you know why? It is okay. I've read a fantastic article about how the city that is getting the Amazon headquarters is actually getting a poisoned apple. So basically, it is going to really be a drain on whatever city they are going to. And even though they kind of talk about 50,000 jobs and so on. It's not necessarily a good thing. So, maybe you heard the latest idiot craze that's going on, teens and young adults eating laundry detergent, which is the Tide Pods. Well, YouTube says that it's taking down any video posted with this challenge, that you got to really be serious now. This is a dangerous game, and maybe you should see a psychiatrist if you feel like you want to do this. New Jersey has passed a legislation that means that now you can be arrested or fined for drunk droning. Yes, after drunk driving, there's drunk droning. Apparently, it is a big problem. Adults that are going out there with their drones drunk, not the drones that are drunk, but the adults. And of course, it's now a hazard because you don't have the same control over the drone, and accidents can happen. So I would guess that there's going to be more and more people doing this, or states doing this, being fined for drunk droning. And finally, Microsoft in the past 24 hours has issued a certain number of updates. And let's just, listen carefully here if you want to know why you got one or not. So, if you're on Windows 8.1, you got a cumulative update with some bug fixes and a few security updates. If you're on Windows 10 Anniversary Update or Creators Update, you've got a cumulative update that has tons of bug fixes. If you're on Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, you might have one if you have an AMD processor. It's a small update that simply fixes the meltdown security flaw in AMD. They had removed that update because it would prevent some machines from booting up, but now it's back. So if you don't have one, well, that's because something is preventing you from compatibility. Your antivirus maybe, or you're simply on an Intel CPU. So like me, you don't have an update. And so this is pretty much what's happening in the past 24 hours. So this was the Tech News Update for Thursday, January 18th, 2018. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.